The golden spires of Amaravati, the capital of Indraloka, pierce the celestial clouds like the frozen rays of 1,000 suns. Here, where the ground is paved with moonstones and the air is perpetually perfumed by the blossoms of the parijata tree, peace had reigned for eons. The Devas, the shining ones, moved with a grace that defied gravity, their bodies composed of pure light and merit. Yet, even in the heart of paradise, the shadows of the past can stretch long and cold. The cosmic balance, the eternal Dharma, was about to be tested not by the external malice of the Asuras, but by the internal friction of a lineage divided. At the center of this gathering storm stood Indra, the king of gods, the wielder of the thunderbolt, and his most trusted ally, Vayu, the lord of the life breath and the swift winds. The tension began with the arrival of Virajas, a powerful celestial being and a distant cousin to the Aditya. He was a son of the ancient sages, a being of immense penance and austerity, yet his heart was clouded by the subtle poison of envy. He claimed that the throne of Indraloka was not the birthright of Indra alone, but belonged to the most virtuous of the bloodline. He argued that the Devas had grown soft in their luxury and that the management of the three worlds required a hand more attuned to the rigors of absolute justice. This was the beginning of a fracture that threatened to tear the heavens apart. Families that had shared the nectar of immortality for ages now looked upon one another with suspicion.
Vayu, my brother in spirit and strength, do you feel the shift in the currents? The air of Indraloka, which once carried only the hymns of the Samaveda, now tastes of iron and discord. My own kin, those who have sat beside me in the halls of justice, now sharpen their words like arrows. They speak of Dharma to justify their ambition. How can the throne be stable when the foundation of brotherhood is crumbling?
King of the heavens, the wind does not choose which tree to shake based on its height, but according to the patterns of the atmosphere. I feel the agitation in the prana of the universe. Virajas has gathered those who feel overlooked. He uses the rhetoric of righteousness to mask the thirst for power. But remember, Indra, Dharma is not a weapon to be wielded for personal gain. It is the very fabric that holds the stars in their orbits. If you must fight your own blood, you do so not for the throne, but for the preservation of the cosmic order.
The gardens of Nandana, usually a place of meditation and joy, became the staging ground for a tragedy. Virajas had managed to convince a significant portion of the celestial host that Indra had become stagnant. The sky grew dark, not with rain clouds, but with the presence of millions of divine chariots. The Gandharvas ceased their music, and the Asparas retreated to the inner sanctuaries, their hearts heavy with dread. Indra stood upon his great elephant, Airavata, whose 4 tusks resembled the pillars of the world. Beside him, Vayu manifested in his most terrifying aspect, his form expanding until he touched the zenith, his many arms holding the banners of the storm.
Indra, cousin and king, look upon the faces of those who stand against you. We are of the same essence. We have fought the demons together in the ages past. Why do you cling to this seat as if it were your soul? Step down and let the council of the elders decide who is most fit to guide the worlds through the coming yuga. Do not force us to spill the blood of the immortals. Virajas, your words are like honey laced with hemlock. You speak of fitness, yet you bring war to the gates of the eternal city. The throne of Indraloka is not a prize to be traded, it is a burden of service. I do not hold it for my pleasure, but because the great architect assigned this duty to me through the fruits of my karma. To surrender it to a heart filled with envy would be the greatest betrayal of Dharma. If you seek the throne through force, then you have already proven yourself unfit to sit upon it.
With those words, the silence of the heavens was shattered. The first volley of arrows was not made of metal, but of pure solar energy. The battle for Indraloka began. It was a sight of terrifying beauty. Divine weapons, the astras, were unleashed with every breath. Agnyastra turned the sky into a furnace, while Varunastra sought to douse the flames with torrential celestial rains. The earth below trembled as the vibrations of the heavenly war echoed through the mountain peaks of Meru. Indra moved through the battlefield like a whirlwind of gold. His Vajra, the thunderbolt forged from the bones of the sage Didhichi, hummed with the power of absolute truth. Yet, his heart was heavy. Every opponent he struck down was a face he knew. These were the gods of the seasons, the keepers of the stars, and the guardians of the directions. He saw brothers clashing with brothers, their divine auras clashing in bursts of white and violet light.
Do not hesitate, O Indra. Your compassion in this moment is a form of attachment. When the body is afflicted by a gangrene, the physician must use the knife, regardless of how much he loves the patient. These kin of ours have abandoned their station. They have prioritized their ego over the stability of the realms. I shall clear the path for you,
Vayu let out a roar that silenced the thunder. He became the Mahavayu, the great wind that marks the end of a cycle. He inhaled, and the very atmosphere of the battlefield was drawn into his lungs. The chariots of Virajas' army spun out of control, tossed like autumn leaves in a gale. Vayu did not seek to kill, but to disorient, to show the rebels the futility of fighting the very breath that sustained them. His movements were so swift that he appeared in 1,000 places at once, a blurred wall of kinetic energy protecting Indra's flank.
You rely on the wind and the storm, Indra. But I have the power of the ancient mantras.
Virajas invoked a powerful illusion, a Mohini Shastra, that filled the minds of Indra's loyalists with visions of their homes in flames and their loved ones in agony. For a moment, the defense of Amaravati wavered. The soldiers of Indra dropped their bows, weeping at the false images projected into their consciousness. Virajas laughed, a sound that cracked the crystal domes of the city. He raised a spear of condensed starlight, aiming it directly at Indra's heart.
My lord, do not look with your eyes. The queen of the gods cried out from the ramparts. Look with the eye of the soul. The Maya of Virajas can only touch that which is temporary. You are the eternal king because you serve the eternal truth.
Indra closed his eyes. He centered his mind on the sound of the primordial Om. The illusions began to dissolve like mist before the rising sun. He saw the battlefield for what it truly was, a play of energy, a test of will. He saw Virajas not as an enemy, but as a soul lost in the labyrinth of its own desire.
Vayu, lend me your speed. Let the thunderbolt find its mark, not to destroy the soul of our cousin, but to shatter the pride that imprisons him.
I am with you, King of Devas. I shall carry the Vajra on the wings of the primary gale.
Vayu transformed himself into a focused stream of air, a concentrated jet that acted as a conduit for Indra's power. Indra stood atop Airavata and raised the Vajra high. The weapon glowed with a blinding, blue-white intensity. As he threw it, the thunderbolt did not travel in a straight line, it moved with the unpredictability of the lightning, guided by the subtle currents provided by Vayu. It bypassed the shields of the rebel army and struck the spear of Virajas, shattering it into a million harmless sparks. The shockwave of the impact stripped away the anger of the combatants. The divine energy of the Vajra acted as a purifier, washing over the battlefield and neutralizing the negative emotions that had fueled the rebellion. One by one, the Devas who had followed Virajas lowered their weapons. They looked at their hands, shocked by what they had nearly done.
How? How could the power of my penance be overcome by a single strike? I have meditated for thousands of years. Penance without humility is like a lamp without oil, Virajas. You gathered power for yourself, while the Dharma requires you to be a vessel for the cosmic will. Your struggle was against the very nature of reality. You are my kin, and I love you, but as the king of Indraloka, I cannot allow your ambition to unseat the balance of the worlds.
Virajas fell to his knees as the realization of his karma dawned upon him. The war was over, but the scars remained. The throne of Indra was secure, but the lesson was clear. Even in the highest heavens, the struggle between ego and duty is eternal. Indra walked toward his fallen cousin and offered his hand.
Rise, Virajas. The path to redemption is through service. You shall not be cast out, but you must now work to heal the divisions you have created. We shall rebuild the halls of Amaravati, and we shall do so with the understanding that our power is a trust, not a possession.
The storm has passed, and the air is clear once more. Let the hymns resume, for the Dharma has been upheld. But let us never forget that the wind of change is always blowing, and only those rooted in the truth will remain standing.
Order was restored to Indraloka. The Devas returned to their duties, watching over the elements and the lives of mortals. Indra and Vayu stood together on the highest balcony of the palace, looking out over the vast expanse of the celestial realm. They knew that their bond was the foundation of the heavens, the strength of the storm and the life of the breath, forever united in the service of the divine law. The great war of kin was a memory, a story to be told to future generations about the price of pride and the beauty of a duty fulfilled against all odds. If you felt the power of the Vajra and the breath of the celestial winds in this epic journey through Indraloka, do not forget to show your support. Your energy fuels our storytelling. Please like this video to honor the gods and subscribe to our channel so you never miss another legend from the ancient and sacred lands of India. Join us in our next adventure through the mysteries of the soul and the battles of the heavens. This epic tale explores the deep philosophical concepts of dharma and karma within the context of a divine war. Discover how the Devas deal with internal discord and how the power of the Vajra is used not just for destruction, but for the purification of the soul. A story of sacrifice, wisdom, and the eternal balance of the universe. Experience a meticulously researched narrative that brings to life the grandeur of Hindu mythology. From the majestic elephant Airavata to the terrifying power of the Mahavayu, this video is a devotional journey into the heart of ancient Indian legends.